decides to take the goblins by surprise, and the mage prepares to cast a fireball spell. The party approaches the cave entrance quietly, and the mage aims their wand towards the group of goblins. The mage unleashes a massive blast of flames toward the goblins, catching them off guard and dealing significant damage. The goblins scream in pain and panic, scrambling to get out of the way. The party takes advantage of the confusion and charges into the cave. Weapons drawn. The fighter and druid engage the goblins in melee combat, while the thief uses thievery skills to pick off any goblins that try
All
to
right,
escape.
we live,
After
by
a
the way.
fierce battle, the party emerges victorious, having defeated goblin group and saved the forest from further harm. The party loots the goblin's treasure hoard and finds some valuable items. Congratulations on a successful mission. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
All right, focus mode. What are you trying to? So.
Yeah, I know. We're stealing gears because we're live now.
Yeah. The cool part though is like the live stream is like get people to come to the YouTube channel, but also we can cut it up and make VOD out of it later. So that's the best part. So
Yeah, of course. Yes.
with that said, I have a question for you, Unbound. Do you think
Yes, sir.
we as adults, civilians, as a nation, do we need a government? As in like centralized authority and like a representation of our individual powers and that kind of stuff. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to say yes, and I'm probably gonna have to. Maybe I know that I have to shortcut probably a lot of great discussion that we're gonna have after I say what I have to say. That's gonna lead to why I believe this.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that not everybody believes the same things, and if you want to have large groups of people coexisting, then you need someone to determine winners and losers. And that's the role of government, is to determine winners and losers, because people are going to have disputes. People are going to have problems with other people. You know, some people want to play this way, some people want to play that way. And I think that we're always going to have that. And I think that we need something that stands to resolve conflict by determining winners and losers, and the winners can walk away as winners, losers walk away as losers, and everybody just lives their lives.
Hmm.
So the winners win sometimes, and the winners lose sometimes, and the losers win sometimes, and losers lose sometimes. So it's a very complicated situation. Society is a complicated situation.
So would you say you think that the government, one of its essential functions is to serve as like a mediator between the disputes of the public? So like if we're fighting over whatever it may
Yes,
be, they're kind of like the deciding factor.
I'd say that that's a really good way to yes. That pretty much explains.
So then
We have to have some sort of mediation.
this is what I think about because obviously we know like as humans we're like kind of like what is it? We're capable of violence and of being like jealous and ignoring each other's wants and needs and just being like horrible to each other. So, like, given that that is the possibility between us and it, like a lot of times our societies break down into that stuff. I think that the reason why we feel that the centralized power government structure is necessary is because it's like the direct conflict to that way that our societies normally break down. And kind of like if we break into like feudalism or like tribal warfare and stuff like that, the government kind of like
Right.
keeps different groups from getting too big. Basically, is the biggest group. And what's interesting to me is we use the government as that thing to represent those of us that have like good intentions and to like represent all of us basically. But my question is that the only way that we could go about doing that? Because obviously, as individuals in a population, there's lots of us who care about, like preserving the peace, making sure that people who aren't able to provide for themselves get enough to survive, etc. And it's like, do we need to deal with the central power in order to achieve the same result, basically, or could we do it on like an individual level, in like some kind of different scale or way, and still achieve results like that?
Well, I think that brings up the interesting point of the main issue with government, and it's okay. So the problem with democracy is that it almost always ends up leading to a oligarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And almost every form of government does, and that I mean that includes uh, includes very much. That includes republics. That includes communism. I think pretty much everything there just kind of continues to point toward um, the many ruling the few, and it always just ends up going that way because you give a little power to a few, suddenly they're making decisions, then all of a sudden they're the ones making the decisions for everyone, and doesn't necessarily work out for the people who are at the bottom of the totem pole, you know.
Yeah, that's
Also,
interesting.
I checked the volume on on the stream, and it's a little bit low. If you want to jump on OBS and
Is that for your audio or for me specifically, or just everything in general?
on the on YouTube, I actually let me mute myself, and I'll see if I can't catch my audio and see if I need to be turned up also, or if it's just you. Give me 1 second.
Okay, turn this up a little bit more. Um,
Yeah, I think you're a little bit lower than I am, but I think that um we could both come up some
all
a
right.
little bit. Oh, got to mute it.
Let me know if you hear the change, if it's good, or if you need more.
Yeah, I'll let me mute myself and I will check.
La da 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 da. Also this.
Yeah, I think we can give that a shot and see if that works.
All right, bet.
Well, I guess we should make some introductions, I guess, a little bit, since here you are running my channel.
All right. Well, long story short,
Introduce yourself, Pete. Who
bet
are you?
bet.
Yeah.
Who is Pete? I got you. I'm just a young dude from California with some pretty out there thoughts, you know. And then we met through apps like this, and since then, like I don't know, our conversations have got hella deep, been surface level, and I feel like even though there's like a decent age gap between us, we still like find ways to meet in the middle on a lot of like pretty deep topics. And you know, there's a lot of
Yep.
we've both talked about this. We've had like multiple conversations where it's like, damn, we should have just recorded that because more people could benefit from hearing this. And so yeah, that's where this started from. That's kind of who I am. Just like a online personality, or I'm trying to be, you know.
But I just want to let you know, man. I really appreciate your uh your work, your effort, man. I'm looking forward to. Maybe we should make an announcement video and kind of let people know, man. We're about to make some changes, try to do some big things with this channel. You know.
Hell yeah. Oh, we got some good shit planned, man. I'm excited for it. Once we like, I'm pretty sure I got everything figured out. But once it's like workflow, know exactly what to do, how to get going, boom, it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one thing I was thinking about today was that, and we actually, we can talk about this stuff on the backside if we're going to continue the conversation about governments and things like that, whether government is necessary. Yeah, I think it's necessary, but I do want the smallest government possible because they are want to run rampant. That's what they do.
Yeah, I think that the way that like if we were gonna change things, I too think that we do need government, and the reason being is because majority of people are probably against it, like against being governed by some central power. But the issue is that they're not able to govern themselves civilly. Like it will, like I said, lead into war, or like whatever it may be, riots or whatever it is. But it will lead to some
Well,
serious
yeah,
chaos.
that's actually really interesting too. That's actually really interesting too. The like let's say there's a country that's right next door.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that country has completely different morals, completely different values, everything. Maybe it is a government's job to protect uh, its own people from its own people, creating conflicts and problems with the
Yeah,
country next door.
and that's what I was saying. It's like as far as a government's role, I think what should be is specifically to represent that power in people. And what I mean by power is our willingness and ability to hurt and destroy each other. I think that the government should take up on that role and reflect the majority's wants and needs, because like in a democratic system, that's the only real way to go about it. Unfortunately, smaller groups and like lesser known communities are going to be like ignored, but like you can't have a perfect system. If we did, we would be implementing it by now, or at least trying to. So I think with democracy as we understand it, or as we've implemented it, I think that we should focus on the majority groups, and then have smaller subset, like what is it called, like smaller infrastructure things that deal with the more like specific or minority groups and their specific needs and wants and stuff, you know. And it should mostly be about evening the playing field for everybody. Even though some groups are going to be huge and some groups are going to be tiny, you want to have an equal representation for everybody as best you can without like causing disruptions. Like, which I think one of the bigger problems we have now with our government is they're trying to like protect certain super tiny minorities, and by doing that, they're like causing a bunch of problems for like way bigger groups, and then you have serious like disparities, like people feeling
Sure,
disenfranchised and stuff. So
sure. Well, also, I guess this also kind of leads to the, I mean, not necessarily specifically pointed at what you were saying, but I kind of got distracted thinking about the whole idea of to secure peace is to prepare for war.
yeah,
Well, is that a concept that we should embrace? Is that how we should be? Is to be prepared for a war just to
I
secure peace? I mean,
I
okay,
think
because you were talking about peace among people being a very important concept. Um, right?
yeah.
Yes, but I don't know. See, how do we achieve peace when there's so much diversity?
So that's a kind of different conversation. So specifically when it comes to like our country here in the West, that's very difficult because you have all kinds of different groups that have migrated here, and a lot of people have different like cultural and racial claims to this land or different parts of the history of the lands. And so everybody kind of feels like it's theirs and nobody wants to go anywhere else. I think when it comes to like what you're talking about, like promoting peace amongst groups of people in that regard, you have to figure out what are the differences between groups, what unifies them, and like there can't really be a middle ground for people that don't fall into those groups. They kind of have to find one or the other. So they have to be like, good qualifiers for joining, not just like, oh, you're this same color or you speak the same language, but maybe something more than that. Like, what do we value culturally, or etc. That kind of stuff. Like how some people group together religiously.
A pro segregation comment?
To a degree, yes, but the reason why I'm pushing it at all is because if you can find a group of people that are like-minded to you as far as like what you feel is okay, what you believe in, and your wants and needs are in alignment, then it makes sense that you should congregate together, because you as a group can focus on tackling the same problems that you as an individual feel, and it makes it easier on everybody, for everybody. Now, then you have that group, if you put them in a place where they don't have to specifically share everything with everyone else around them, but they can work together like a network. Like they are the node here, and there's another one kind of not that far, and they can interrelate with each other or work together, but they don't have to necessarily mix. They can both have their own separate place. I think that gives us a lot more freedom. I think the idea of every nationality having a country is, even though we're like, some countries are obviously going to be shitty, especially with the way the world is. I think that if we
But it
tried
gives
to
them the
implement
freedom
those.
to be that country,
Yeah,
to have
yeah,
that
and
identity.
and that's one thing that our country really does not support, and you can see that from the wars we fought over the past few decades. And
Yeah, yeah,
again,
that's
that's
true.
like, I don't think that everyone should be left to their devices. Like I don't think like there's a lot of countries in like Africa. I feel like if we just left it up to them to pick their leadership and do whatever's best for them, some countries might do well, but I feel like more often than not they would like destroy themselves. So instead, we have to be like some type of
Well,
overarching like blanket.
technically, shouldn't we allow them to do that if they want, if that's what they want to do?
Yeah, but this is my point. Who says this what they want? Like this kind of what I mean. Say 1,000 people live somewhere and 15 people have access to the most resources and they're the most educated, and they decide that they're going to create a control structure within that group to benefit themselves over everyone else, like communism or something. I don't know. And no one around them is there to help the people, the majority of the people that might not feel reflected in that system, that small group might destroy everybody and in their region, and then anybody else that might identify or associate with those traits of that group has nowhere to go, and that's the issue.
What about if a system or a framework of a nation is self-destructive?
Well, it wouldn't exist in the
I
first
mean,
place, I don't think. Like what?
well,
This,
it certainly may start. It certainly may start, but it may not. But it may not last. But are you going to do? Like, are you going to jump in and save it like a failing bank and just bail it out?
no, I think that the implementation of the structure that I'm talking about kind of prevents these things from happening. Because think of it like this: you have one group like that in like surrounded by other groups. If that group starts to deteriorate or break down for reasons that are literally a part of the reason why that group is separate from the other ones, it will dissolve almost
Yeah,
immediately. If not even become a separate thing in the first place, because it wouldn't be unified enough to be separate.
fair enough, fair
So it's
enough,
like
fair enough.
you'd have
At least I
individuals
would hope
fighting
so.
with groups, but it wouldn't be so much a group thing. And even if it did get to that point, you got to remember that's one group fighting against other groups who are unified under the same umbrella that is, hey, we want to govern ourselves like this. We want to exist in this way. It's the most free and fulfilling for every single one of us, regardless of our differences. And if you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with every single group or country, whatever, that's enjoying the privilege and benefits of this system. So it's kind of like, think
Interesting.
of it like have you have you played the game Risk?
No, I've not.
Oh, well,
And I know
basically,
that sounds. I look. I know that
no
that
Risk.
sounds
Do you know
fucking
what the game
ridiculous.
is?
I know.
Don't worry about it. I don't care. Do you know?
Everybody should play Risk and
As
know how
long
to
as
play
you
it, but
know
I've
what
never
it
played
is,
it.
that's the beginning. So basically, if everybody put their pieces on the board and never move them, the game, there's nothing to play. It's not until you start invading other countries that it becomes a thing. And so the question is, how can we create a system to where that concept or that idea of like invasion and like taking over people's livelihood, destroying cultures, and like like think of like the concepts of like genocide and stuff. How do we eradicate that from like the future, given that we've like fallen
Yeah,
into that so many times in the past, and most of our wars are fought
yeah,
over
yeah.
ideas.
Like the European, the whole European invasion on everything, and then you have the Spanish Inquisition.
And
It's been
now
historical.
this is where I want to circle back to what you said before about being prepared for war is one of the only ways to promote peace. Especially because you know about Texas and stuff. A big reason why people don't commit as many gun violence crimes out there is because everybody has guns. And so it's like you
Yeah.
can't pull a gun on someone and expect to rob them because you can expect them to pull one out on you. So that's
There's a lot of people who say, man, don't they say don't fuck with Texas because you know that we got like three times more guns than we have people here.
so
It's
that's kind of what I'm saying. Imagine we don't have to be like warrior clans, but we can understand and respect the fact that our ideas are protected through things like violence, things through like action, and
I think
instead
the
of
warrior clans had a lot to do with why the westward expansion project worked. Um,
I'm just saying,
because
think of
there
like
was no.
the only aggressive tactics employed by countries over time that I'm familiar with is aggressive land grabbing and people eradicating. And so my point is, how do we take
Yes,
that same level of aggression, that same level of passion, and instead of pointing it towards getting more, preserving what is already here right now? And
using what
that's
we
what I
have,
mean.
using what
Yeah.
we have, and using that as a sustenance, a balance, and instead of a game for whose whose stuff I can get from who.
Yeah, so this is kind of the idea. I'll try to lay it out like this. Imagine we here in this country, there are behaviors or there are things you can do that we do not accept or allow or appreciate in our society, and that's one of the things that defines our society for what it is. But we have to be willing.
The lack of gratitude, the things that people
Hold on,
take for granted
hold on.
is,
Come on, about real quick.
sorry.
I just want to
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
we have to be willing to respect other nations and their decisions to be different. We don't want to be
Yes,
that, so we choose not to be. But if other
right.
individuals want to and they're being eradicated for that, like it's up to us to recognize that it's not so much about the fact that those ideas are being destroyed. It's the fact that groups of individuals who are innocent as far as like I don't know, not innocent,
Societally,
but like,
societally, in their
yeah, yeah,
society,
in that
in their
regard.
society, they're innocent.
Yeah, and people get destroyed because they're smaller or because their ideas are radical or different. And some of those ideas are harmful, but my whole point is that if your ideas are harmful, your society won't last. You literally, everyone will die. And so we don't have to so much worry about if people create harmful ideologies in societies because they will die out and kill themselves off and have so much infighting that they'll dissolve. They won't last 1,000 years. They won't last 500. Look at our country about to dissolve over the same things.
Yeah, dude. You know, I may have been taught incorrectly, but if I understood what I was taught, if it was if what I was taught was correct and I understood it correctly, George Washington, of our first, well, not technically our first president, but our first recognized president,
Mm-hmm.
said basically that we should stay out of foreign affairs. Yes, let's trade with them. Fuck yeah, hell yeah, we want to trade with you. But let's not get involved in their fucking problems, man. And that was, that's one of the reasons that we won the American Revolution is because England was already involved in so many fucking wars globally that you know, they
Yeah.
were just like it was an accounting thing, and I was like, yeah, let's put the money over here. They were just like it was an accounting thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
wonder if that's gonna get weird. Let's put the money.
I was like doubling the audio. I'm not gonna do that right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it. Hey, check it out. What you need to download is oh SCRCPY,
What's that?
and you plug you have an Android phone.
Yeah.
You plug your phone into it, turn off USB debugging, and you can basically launch your phone and use your phone from your computer, but you can pull that window into OBS if you want to.
Oh, I have something similar. It's called Android Dex. It basically does the same thing. DEX.
I think I've heard of that one. I
Yeah.
think I've used it before.
Yeah. I think it's a
I
built-in
I just
software.
preferred CP as SCR's screen copy is what I call it, SCR CPY. But um anyway, that's just a decent way that you can like, mm, if you wanted to include. I don't know. Anyway, we can go over some stuff, and if you want some, like, I don't know how familiar you are with OBS tips and tricks, like all the little ins and outs, but if you want to, we can go over some of that stuff at some point.
I'm familiar enough to be able to stream and record, but yeah, like if you got special shit you want to let me know about, but I'm down.
Yeah, I can show you how to edit windows, to where like you're only capturing a certain part. Okay, so if you hold Alt at the corner of a window, it's gonna crop it. It starts cropping it. I don't know if you know that.
Hmm.
Hold Alt and click at the corner of a window and start dragging. It crops it. So you can only capture so much of a window that you want to capture, right? Instead of the whole window.
Oh no, yeah, I know about that. I didn't know
Okay.
the hotkey was alt for that, but I know how to do that.
Okay.
Cool.
Um. Yeah, and there's just I don't know. Maybe we'll just do a thing one day. But also, I think if I didn't know if you wanted to just start linking in descriptions back to the this is how
Oh, I could. To what? Like a YouTube or to this?
the Discord.
Oh shit, you're right. That works too. I was actually gonna ask you though. Did you
So
want to build? Because you know
what I
how
was what I was
YouTubers
thinking
have a
about
Discord thing. You could do it on mine, or
what I
you
was
could
thinking
make your
about
own.
was
Yeah.
sorry. What I was thinking about is that we should probably have like a standard, like a copy and paste set of like links and things that we put in the description of each video.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't. I thought about starting to create that today myself, but you weren't available until after I stopped thinking about that.
Yeah, I
Um,
could do that.
but yeah, I was thinking I can create a shared folder on. Are you on Dropbox at all?
Yeah.
Okay, I can create a shared folder on Dropbox, and we can just that way when I start a video, I can copy and paste the same, general links that we
Yeah, yeah,
use in
yeah.
the description for all the videos. But I didn't know if you wanted to have a link back to the this is how.
I know what you mean. But yeah, I'd be down.
Okay.
I think
It was just a thought, and then maybe this wouldn't be a bad time. I mean, I don't know. I guess we're still in the conversation, but we're still kind of floating around free and figuring shit out. But if you want to talk about that, this is how. This might not be a bad time to do that.
Sure, I'm down. Real quick, let me change the. I'm gonna just change the title on YouTube to just general topics.
Sorry, I didn't mean to change the topic, but I didn't expect us to
No,
agree so much.
you're good. No, I've kind of like I've kind of moved around in my thinking as far as like that stuff.
I've noticed that you know, and not that I'm against you know the big ideas, and I had to chill myself out too because fuck you want to change the world, you better start with your own fucking world. That starts at home. You know what I mean? What's up, Bubbles? Emo? Not much, just figuring shit out, having a good time while we're doing it.
Hey, it was good. It was
Oh
good,
shit and shit.
Pete. Huh? What's
He's
your
yeah,
favorite?
I think he's making some adjustments on the YouTube page right now.
Yeah.
We're testing the whole broadcasting live
Oh yeah, I feel that. I feel that for real.
multi-platform format type shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit. It's a lot. Let's get into it. That's all I gotta say. It's already a lot. Being a
What's a
YouTuber is
lot?
not the easiest job.
I don't know. It seems kind of like a pain in the ass, man.
Oh, it is.
It's all these details and shit.
It's not even just the details. You gotta deal with the backlash of everybody, other fucking YouTuber. It's a lot. You need to make sure you really have a good stomach for it, because there's shit, you know.
I've had a few people like say like make comments on my videos before that were just a little bit, but I've never really come across anything really super toxic on any of my video comments that I've seen.
Well, you're lucky then. Let's
Well,
get
I'm a
into
nice
it
guy. What do
then.
you want?
What?
I said, well, I'm a nice guy. What do you want?
Well, shit. That's always a great quality to have when it comes to YouTube. Shit. I was gonna
Doesn't
do
make me any less
YouTube.
stupid.
Yeah. I was gonna do YouTube at one point, but I'm like, yeah, too much backlash on everybody. I'm all set. Plus, I don't have the right
I'm just
equipment.
trying to. I just had one stupid video that went fucking got like enough view hours to basically monetize my channel. I just need the fucking subscribers. So it's like, well, I guess I might as well pump it up and fucking start working toward the subscribers and actually monetizing the shit and turn it into a fucking machine, man.
Yeah, for real, for real. Always good.
That's
I'm
annoying.
thankful and glad to have my good friend Gasmask help me out, man.
Yep.
Me too, man. I'm trying to. Can you guys hear me now or no?
Yes.
Okay. Freaking input is being a gerb today.
Drop your audio again.
Yeah, it was like it dropped it through Spoon though. I was like, what the heck?
Spoon, I don't know if it's still the same case, but it used to be at least on a browser. Spoon audio it was super spotty. It would
Yeah.
drop all the fucking time. Like every time somebody would join, it would kick the host off the audio or something like that. I don't remember the exact problem, but it was a pain in the ass.
Luckily, I've never had that many issues on the computer. Just on the phone, yeah. The computer, not so much. But anyway, I was saying, um, so the next topic is the community. So we've talked about this a while back, and it was kind of a few different things, but I think the main idea or the main synthesis of it, we could tie it in a little bit to that last conversation. So we were talking about different groups, and traditionally, like you go to prison or you go back in history, those groups are what language you speak, what race you are, what land you come from. Those are typically the groups. And I was thinking nowadays, since we have the internet that basically interlocks all of us across all distances, that bridges all language barriers, that does so many things to like basically dissolve those things that kept us locked into our groups before. Um,
You can literally communicate with anyone
yeah, and not only
globally.
that, like countries like the United States are big ass mixing pots of all different types of cultures and ways of thinking and that kind of stuff. And so, long story short, our idea or my idea was I was like, man, I want to change the world. And I was thinking, first of all, how do you do that? Second of all, what would I want to do to change it? And a big part of it was I felt dissatisfied with what there is out there as far as like personally, I felt like I struggle with not being able to find other like-minded people like myself and people that care about, say, like taking care of the planet in ways that actually make sense, not like Green New
The word
Deal
the, the
type
word that
stuff.
you used earlier, disenfranchised, I think really
Yeah. So like personally, I've dealt with like mental health issues and like just issues as far as like having enough food sometimes. And I know that there's like super simple fixes to those things. Like one of the fixes would be like if we could plant more food, trees or plants around public areas. For some reason, that's not like allowed. And I understand like to some degree the argument is like, oh, it will promote more homelessness, but it's like, well, I don't necessarily have a problem with that because like all of us start off homeless, you know? It's not till we're told we have to buy a plot from the bank that we become homeowners. And that's just kind of a debt based system. I would much prefer like all the land is open or we have a designated amount of open land and the people that choose to go here are kind of free in a sense and there's food, there's resources, there's different things and you can make something of yourself similar to how like it was when we first got to these different countries like when like frontiers and stuff like the frontier times when there was like pioneers and stuff that kind of stuff um so like
okay. You know about plowshares, like
well,
the
hold
the,
on,
the
hold on.
problems with
Before I get too
plowshares.
deep into
Okay,
that, I just
sorry.
wanted to say like that's like one possible solution to one of the problems that I felt I was facing as an individual, and I also know a lot of people face just food crisis type of stuff. I know that there's simple things we could do to address that or fix that, but I don't see the infrastructure put in place from the governments, from the money that we get taxed on in all different kinds of ways. I don't see it directly serving our best interests or even serving us very well at all. Like sure there's food banks and there's drives and different things, but it's like it just always seems like half-hearted in a sense. And so what I was thinking is how do I take the initiative upon myself as a civilian, non-government entity, non-political leader, etc., and bring people together similar to me to create some type of either infrastructure or some type of network that helps us to serve our own best interests. And it wasn't just about like food and money, but also to give you an avenue or an opportunity to feel like you can grow spiritually, whatever that looks like. So yeah,
Resources as a whole, not which includes like mental health, like something you were talking
yeah,
about, man.
yeah.
Because there's
A big part of the group was
uh,
always okay, if you join this group, you are now no longer alone. You have every single other person in this group. We're even if we're all antisocial to a degree or whatever it may be, like we're here for each other. We go through similar things. And like you remember one of the biggest things I was trying to promote was more conversations and more talking about different things and getting people to be involved. I think the biggest issue with that was just the platform we were using. And so it's a matter of finding people on the platforms they're on, unifying them through there, and then having the overarching idea that is this is how, and that's what unites us, you know?
yes.
And then the basically the next step is show people, hey, this is how we created our community. This is the idea that we're trying to make. It's like-minded people group together, work together, and then work with other groups. This can be used as a blueprint and an inspiration for you to create your community. And then together we can work as a network or a group of communities to serve the greater purpose of the people as the people instead of waiting for the governments or for the right amount of money to be put together. If we put our resources and our minds and our hearts together, like anything's possible basically. It's just a matter of us being willing to do that and then finding a way to organize well enough to be able to like put into action our ideas, you know? So yeah, that's
This
the
is
whole
still something
idea.
we're very much interested in, and that's kind of one of the reasons that uh, I've decided to dedicate a large portion of my channel to the This Is How community. Um, I want we still want to do this. I mean, we don't know, we're not ready to change the world, obviously, but we're ready to start talking about it. We're ready to start involving people who can help other people, or people who need help sometimes too, man. Sometimes you just need somebody to be there, and so
Yeah,
we've enjoyed being those people.
yeah, and that's a big part of it. It's like if you just feel alone and like you've reached out to people and they're just not so much there, or you feel like they don't understand or haven't gone through things you've gone through. Myself, you, Unbound, and a few of the other people that are still around, like just between us, we have enough experience and patience and understanding to be there for just about anybody, to listen and to give good advice or to just be a positive network in people's lives. Because I know for sure
Of course,
we have been for each other.
of course, that there are also expectations. It's like you don't. If you're gonna ask for help, we expect you to listen
Yeah,
to the people who have the information that they can give you. I've seen a lot of people not want to take any advice, and you just kind of. I mean, at some point, there's a point where they're not going to do anything for themselves, and just letting them continue to ask you to bend your ear for them to need help and them to need help when they don't listen to things that the community can provide them as answers. And that's what the community. And when I say that, I mean that we have people from all walks of life, all kinds of experiences, or at least we want to where that if somebody has been where you are, but you know what? I want you to listen,
and not only
and I
that,
want you to. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, don't forget, we've had conversations with strictly members of the community from Hawaii to the United Kingdom all at the same time. It took a little bit of planning, but that's happened before. And like our ideas, our messages, it goes beyond the lands that separate us. It goes beyond the oceans that separate us. And with the technology we have available to us, it almost makes no sense that we're not using it to our full advantage to share our ideas, to connect with one another, and to use it to find ways to create prosperity in our communities. And I think that this is a big first step in what we're trying to do. And hopefully, if it goes well, we can bring more people on and help them to find whatever niche or whatever way it is that they can create opportunities and better financial situation, etc., for themselves. That's a big part of this community, if not the biggest core value, is that to be a part of this, you don't have to believe what we believe. You don't have to do things like how we do it. You don't have to really be anything like us. All you have to be willing to do is say, I want to better myself. I want more for myself, and by extension, I want more for the people around me. And that's basically it. It's it's kind of like a self-help book, but as a community. It's This is how I change the things about me in order to get a better reality. This is how I change the way I deal with other people so that we get along better and we can all find prosperity. Because at the end of the day, who doesn't want that?
100%.
The only people that might disagree are the selfish or those that are seeking to control. And that a big part of that is ego and fear. We don't need to control things. In fact, we don't have any control. It's not until you realize that and let go of that feeling that you can start to find peace. And that's one of the things that we're trying to offer ourselves and everyone else through this community. So
Well,
yeah.
the beautiful thing is that you have control over yourself. Um, if you can learn to exercise it, because it is an exercise. Because self-control is not just something that we're just handed. It's not
Mm-hmm.
an easy thing. For some people, it does come easier than it does for others. There's no question for that. But the reality is that it's very personally responsible. Um, and well, I lost my train of thought.
there's a big focus on personal responsibility and self-development. That's, I think, the message. But as long as you're willing to try to dedicate yourself to that, you have everybody else here to help you.
Well, yeah, and because well, we're all gonna fall short, right? You know, okay, you and I were talking the other day about you were talking about sin, and I my understanding of sin, as opposed to being just morally bad or wrong, was like at the very base roots of it means missing the mark. Like it's an archer's term.
Mm-hmm.
I was aiming for something, but I didn't hit my target, and it's very deep, uniquely personal experience, honestly. Um,
Ooh, and can I add to that real quick with my idea?
absolutely.
So
I mean, I brought it
so
up. I
so
brought it
yeah.
up so that you could
Speaking
add to
of
it.
the concept of sin, like how I had described it was that sin basically means self-destruction, or the opposite of self-empowerment or self-growth, etc. Whatever's good for you on a soul level, whatever that means to you, the opposite of that would be to quote unquote sin. Now, what is interesting is that if you look at the word sin in Spanish, it means without. So if you say like sin azúcar, asking about a coffee, you're saying I want a coffee without sugar. What I
My
think is
dad and I went
very
to. My dad took me to Panama, and he told me to order shrimp sin cabeza.
all right. Anyway, my point is, if you think about it, sin is without, meaning what's inside is kind of going out or away. There is nothing within. And that's kind of the point, is you want to take your focus and go within and figure out what's there. Figure out what's at the core of me and how do I embody that and kind of bring that forward. And a really good metaphor I use all the time is that we are not these bodies. The body is like the paintbrush. And what we really are, what you really are, is the art that's waiting to flow through that paintbrush. So that's what it means to go within. That's what it means to be the opposite of quote unquote sin. It just means to embody your truest self and then bring that forward and then try to inspire other people to bring it out of themselves too, and then see how beautiful and magical we can make this place. Because I feel, or I believe, that we all have something beautiful to bring out of ourselves. And when we do that, the connections we can have with each other and the experiences we can create, there's nothing like it, basically. To live in harmony, I guess you could say.
I agree. I agree, and I think that the archery term that I was talking about, I think it says it's a similar thing. It means aim better.
Yeah, don't miss the mark.
Yes.
And I think that's the mark, is to live with prosperity and unity and harmony in mind, consciously.
Or at least to continue working towards hitting the mark.
Yeah, of course.
You,
Yeah, like don't expect
yes.
it to be that, and if it doesn't get there, feel shame or upset. It's just like we are going to strive for this, knowing full well we will not
Yeah.
attain it entirely. But that's what
Sure.
that's
Yeah, you
what
may not hit the
separates us.
bullseye every time, and you may not be perfect, but man, but put the work in. Put the work in. Try to be that embodiment of your true self.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect encapsulation of what our community is. That's what it was for me before I met anyone else and told anyone else about it. I was feeling like I was empty and lacking inside. And once I took the initiative to be like, you know what? Who am I really? And what do I really want and need out of this place? That's when I started to figure out what my truth is, live that, become that person. And as soon as I did that, I met Unbound. I met friends like DJ and like Demon, I just see on call. We call her Queen, and some other people. And that's like it immediately shifted. There was an immediate shift. And so now it's just about keeping that spark alive, harnessing it, building it up, and then trying to share that with other people so that they can enjoy what I enjoy, which is peace and happiness, as opposed to fear and panic and sadness and anguish and all these other things. So yeah.
And of course, it's always a struggle too. I mean, even after all the good stuff, man, it doesn't mean every day is gonna be a fucking cakewalk.
Absolutely. But luckily, when when you gear yourself towards trying to do these things and you associate yourself around people like us, you know that you can fail and that you can fall down and make mistakes, etc. And you know that you won't be alone when you need somebody to
Yeah,
pick you up.
there'll be people
We're
there
here.
for you.
Yep.
We're here.
And
Fucking A, man.
that's one of the best parts. It's like I'm no longer afraid to try because I know people believe in me. It's just up to me now. And we're there.
We've spent some time working on this project and just trying to figure out what it is and how to approach it I mean, how like 3 years now, Pete?
Something like that, yeah. Since like the height of this
Um,
pandemic, when everybody couldn't even go to work, that's when we met.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that was a huge factor in everything too. It's like, how alone did you feel when the pandemic happened? How strong was your support group if you have one? And if not, were you suffering too? Well, this is to be in place of something like that ever happening again. This is one way, at least.
that's funny that you say that because right now I'm working from home. It's like, Jesus, I'm starting to feel like, cabin fever.
Yeah.
But it got dark there for a while. Like, okay, as Pete and I were getting really trying hard to get all these things going. I don't know if it was me or him or both of us. I know I suddenly, after dealing with listening to so many stories and trying so hard to be there for so many people, I did catch a little bit of the burnout. And so I took a hiatus for a little bit. I had to take a break. Um, I had a lot of things going on in my life, but um, it's kind of funny that I have found myself right back into it, and it was just in perfect timing because it seems like whatever funk that was affecting me has stopped affecting a lot of other people because I've been seeing a lot of other people that I used to interact with a lot kind of coming up out of the woodwork and going, "Hey,
Yep.
where you guys at?"
The same rock everyone was under just got picked up.
It really fucking did, and I don't know what did it, but I'm glad it was.
I think it was the weather, honestly.
For a whole year.
Man, this whole year has been ridiculous. At least where I live, it went from too damn hot to immediately way too damn cold.
All right, fair enough. If I'll give it to you. If that maybe that was it. There's a possibility. I'm not gonna say that it's not.
I will say there was something in the air. Can't pinpoint it, but something was like an overarching feeling of like gloom and just antisocialness, kind of. And I've
Maybe
noticed
you
that in
just
a
get
lot of
sick of
people.
watching the government just fuck us completely every chance they get.
Maybe.
You know,
Well, all the more reason for us to come together with a renewed sense of passion and interest in these topics, because ultimately the only thing that's going to change, say if our government falls and we start, going down the feudal path of becoming like groups and fighting one another for land and resources and over ideas, the only thing that's going to save us is unity. That's it. It's unity or it's war. So we have to figure out what things unite us, what's important to us, and be willing to fight and die for those things. And hopefully we won't have to.
you know what? You just reminded me. You just reminded me. Obviously, my answer to your initial question: Are governments necessary? Yes, the Texas government is necessary. We're about to be our own fucking nation again, boy.
I'm dead at you.
Not really. Not really. I wish, but it.
That was great.
That would be good. See, I do what I do. Okay, so you want unity? You want unity?
Hmm.
Make Texas still a nation. I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna be unified like a motherfucker, even with all of our diversity, because we've already been that for a long time.
This is why I
We're
go into the spiritual stuff. Like, not to step on what you're saying, because I want you to continue that. But imagine
no, no.
if
I was just making jokes, man. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to be entertaining.
oh, you're good. You're hella entertaining, bro. Even when you're not trying. But I was gonna say if we could figure out that, so like that whole concept of a soul and a spirit. I know it's like in the religious context and stuff, but if every one of us could just find a commonality with those kind of ideas, like I don't know what it is necessarily. I can't define it physically, but I feel and I experience something that comes through me. It's like a direct connection through me to something. I don't know what it is, but I feel it. If we can relate to one another on that specific feeling alone and say, I don't know what it is, but I feel it and you feel it too, that's what unites us. And to me, that is the concept of namaste, which is the divine light within me recognizes and appreciates the divine light within you. It's kind of like we recognize one another's divinity or godliness, or we recognize that we are all deserving of respect. And when we start to treat one another like that, we inspire that in our culture, and that becomes virtuous. It's like I want to kill you with kindness to the point where you want to do it to me back harder. And then once we start doing that, we inspire one another to be great in that way. Just like how we inspire each other to be degenerate.
I'm not sure if this is necessarily I don't know. Okay, so earlier I was playing around with the D&D AI that I was playing around with, and so it said basically I decided that I wanted to there was like a couple of guides who had offered to take me to the cave in exchange for half of the reward, right? So they led me to the place, and I got there, but after I cleared out the cave, I was like, they want half of my fucking loot. And I was like, no, we're gonna turn on them.
I'm fucking dead.
All right, so one of them escaped. One of the guys escaped. As we were killing off one of the guides.
I'm so dead, bro.
We're returning to town, and it's like, well, you know that this is gonna affect your reputation, right? Oh fuck, god damn it. So what I did was I built a tavern. Became like because why would you not build your own tavern, right? Because then you've got all the fucking leads on the the adventures and shit like that, and then and all that stuff. But then I was like, you're successful. So I was like, now I've got to figure out that problem with the guy that got away, man. He might go try to undermine my whole shit. So I was like, let's go find him and give him a job. And so we did. And then he became the reminder for the adventure team that of our wrongdoings and trying to fix our rights. Oh man.
I think next time
I swear
we live stream, we should do it through Discord too, like just so you can see your face too, because I have like a face.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I figured you were probably just OBSing your camera.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it until I was already streaming. And I was like, wait, I forgot I have a little face cam in the corner, but like.
Yeah, dude, these things are complicated, man. But it's good. It's good. I like that. I like that we're testing. I like that we're learning. I like that. Yes. Yeah. Also, okay, so you want to have the window that you're broadcasting as just one window. That way you can pull up other windows and look at other things.
Oh,
right?
I know. I have it all separate.
All right. I'm just trying to help out, man.
It's just I don't have my I have a TV monitor, but it's in the garage. Normally I have my computer out there, and I have dual monitors set up, but I moved my stuff in here in my room to be closer to the internet connections, so that way I can stream and everything and not have issues. So I think what I'll do is move my TV back in here. That way I have a second monitor, can put all the streaming stuff over there and just keep it open, and then have the actual broadcast view on my computer.
Okay, I was just trying to help, man.
Oh yeah, that's just the easiest way, honestly, because then you can have chat open to the side. You can have your setup. You don't have to like pop it open and down and stuff. And OBS never has to see it, which is like kind of what's been happening. Pop back and forth.
We can work on some background like stuff so that you don't have to have like the whole window shown. You can just kind of select just part of the window that you want to share.
That's another option. It's just like that way you don't have to do that. You can full screen the record and then just like put your other stuff off to the side, whatever stuff you don't want to be seen on stream. Yeah. Either way, it's just two different ways to do the same thing. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Dude, there's a million ways to skin a cat. And I'm looking at 3 of them right now.
I'm
Which
fucking
one of you is
dead.
volunteering? I really appreciate you running the YouTube, man. Yeah, I think that this is going to be helpful for us. I think helpful for I think it's going to be mutually beneficial, and also communally beneficial.
Yeah, I think so too. I
Can't wait
think
till we actually get some more people in the actual fucking live.
for real, that's gonna be lit. I was gonna say, are you down to cut it off right now, or do you want to keep going with the YouTube one?
It's whatever you want, man. I don't care.
All right, so I think what we're gonna do is
Actually, you know what? Actually, yeah. Why don't we kill this one? Because my phone's like nearly dead. And we can let's do some other experiments. We can go live on YouTube again with a different thing, or
okay.
let's mix it up. Let's
All
see
right,
what works and what
all
doesn't.
right. I'm gonna end the spoon stream, and then I'm gonna end the YouTube stream too, just to see how the VOD saves, and then from there I'm gonna
Yes.
like
Yes.
go to Discord, and then we'll go on the call. What's up, Hunter? How you doing, man?
Hunter, dude, yeah,
Where
dude,
have you
what the
been this
fuck?
whole
You
time? How you
finally
gonna pull
fucking
up at the last
this
second?
whole fucking time. All right, let's keep it going for a few more minutes and then we'll fucking kill it.
Hunter,
Unless you've
call
already
in,
started
call
making
in, do the thing,
call in.
click the thing.
If you don't call in the next 10, 15 seconds, we're just gonna kill everything. 9, 8, 7, 6, 55, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kill it. Kill it with fire.
All right, see you on Discord. Peace, Hunter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, your headphones are dead. It's all good, brother. We were just testing stuff for YouTube streaming, but we might be back later. Appreciate you for stopping by.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you guys for watching the first stream. Hope everything went good. If it did, you will definitely see this video. If not, none of this will exist. But yeah, have a great day.